Corey and I are building a cabin. On one of Corey and I's very first dates, we went snowshoeing at some land that he has. When we were snowshoeing, he was telling me about how he planned to build like an off-grid cabin in the woods away from the road where you can't drive to. There's a four-wheeler trail or you can walk there. So we snowshoed out and he showed me where he wanted to put the cabin. I thought that was just the coolest idea. The location where we thought we were gonna put it was like, it had tall white pines, or were they red pines?
Red pines, towering giant red pines on a hillside. And then spring happened.
Well, in the spring we kind of looked around to make sure we wanted to put the cabin there. So we checked out a few different spots and we found that the location where we thought we wanted to put the cabin, or Corey had thought he wanted to put the cabin, was really like dense.
Yeah, there's a lot of underbrush. It's kind of hilly, rather steep terrain. Hiking the trail, we moved around to the other side of the swamp that overlooked the towering pines, and there was a lot less brush. It was a little flatter terrain.
So we decided to put the cabin in a place with big trees and no brush rather than in a place with a lot of brush but also big trees. So in May, we went to the land and a whole bunch of family was there. We went out and staked out the spot where we were gonna put the cabin and started clearing away some of the stuff that was in the way. I think we didn't we cut down a birch tree, like a really old, rotten, dead?
Yeah, it was a rotten, dead birch tree.
It didn't even have any limbs on it left. It was basically just a tall stump.
Yeah, we chose 12 by 28 for a couple of reasons. A lot of material is 4 by 8 sheets, so it works out nice to conserve the materials that we'd have to haul by trailer behind a four-wheeler all the way out there. We chose a post and beam design, so we didn't have to do any groundwork. Like we said, we didn't have any equipment besides the skid loader you'll see in the video to drill the holes for the posts. We like the remoteness of this.
Yeah, we didn't want to put the cabin in an easily accessible area because, I don't know, it just feels like you're alone at the cabin. What is that called? The frame around the posts?
Yeah, the beams went in first after the posts, and then we attached the floor joists to the beams, and once we had the floor joists on, it was just a matter of rolling out the Reflectix, adding the plywood. We chose to do Reflectix just based off of a couple of YouTube videos that I watched. My brother has a cabin and there's a mouse issue. So if you put fiberglass insulation or wool or assorted insulation in the floor, typically a mouse will make its home in there. We're planning on putting skirting around the bottom edge, so we figured the Reflectix would be enough to keep the heat in the living quarters.
So it's our insulation and mouse deterrent.
The posts, the beams, and the floor joists all ended up being home sawed lumber that my brother helped saw for us. We had plans of doing the entire cabin out of home sawn lumber, being easily accessible for us. Time is always against us. We decided just to buy the lumber for the walls and the rest of the build. We did try covering the floor.
We got tarps to put over the floor and spread out these tarps over the floor of the cabin to protect the flooring from the rain, but we think what happened was when we stretched out the tarps, we stretched them out too far, so
the fabric,
yeah,
or the
fabric,
weave.
the woven pieces spread out too far and water got in, and it actually ended up like holding water under the tarp until the next time we came back, and now the floor doesn't look the same.
Before we put a post in the ground or did anything, we actually went to an auction and bought a number of used and new windows. So we kind of designed the floor plan and the window layout based off of the windows that we ended up getting at an auction.
We wanted to have a lot of windows so it's like bright and open, especially because there's no current electricity or water at the cabin site. Before we get our electric setup how we want it to be, our off-grid setup, we want it to be bright enough to see in the cabin.
We framed the walls according to the windows that we had.
We don't have the four-wheeler today, so we're actually walking with all of our gear out to work on the cabin.
Today we're going to begin framing the walls. See how far we get before getting chased out by the mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes are thick. There's water on our tarps.
We don't have any drawings, So we're doing this on the floor, laying it out as we go. And stood up the walls. Up goes our first wall, babe.
Aww.
All right.
It looks like a cabin already. Look at that. Look at that. It's a cabin. Wow.
We had my brother saw some 2.5 by 6 beams to tie the walls together.
Since the last time I was here at the cabin, Corey actually came out and he put up a bunch of the beams, I think all of the beams that we're gonna have, to support the cabin as well as to put the lofts on top of.
We'll have exposed beams in the cabin that are rough sawn. That'll be a nice rustic look. I guess the floor plan, we kind of have decided on about an 8 by 10 bedroom with a smallish closet. We'll put some of the utilities when we get that far in the closet. It's going to be a smallish bathroom with just a shower. The rest, 12 by 18, will be open floor plan. Planning on a loft on each end. Good morning, YouTube. It's Corey and Nora out here. We got Ethan in the background somewhere over there. Jody's not able to be with us. She's working. Getting a couple of sprinkles, not too bad. Last time we were up here, we cut the rafters and got 4 rafters up in the first ridge beam. We're gonna try to continue on and get all the rafters up. Next time it'll be tin and 2x4s, so we'll see how it goes and hopefully we don't get too wet. The roof pitch is actually 12-12. It's relatively steep. We wanted that for a little more headroom.
We're gonna put a wood stove in the living room, so that's gonna be our heat. We haven't found the perfect one yet.
We're probably gonna have a 12-volt electrical system.
Off-grid.
Off-grid, probably charged with a solar panel down by the swamp.
My dream is to have a sandpoint well with like a hand pump. And we do plan on using this cabin year-round. It's gonna be a place that we can go any time of year. I wanna be able to use it this winter. Go snowshoeing out to the cabin this winter. But yeah, our bathroom is probably gonna have some kind of composting setup for a toilet and then a shower area. I really want to do like a stone shower, like stones that we pick out ourselves and cement them in to make the basin or maybe part of the wall, I don't know yet. So basic kitchen, basic bathroom, off-grid with a screened-in porch, 1 bedroom, 2 lofts. That's the cabin. I'm excited to make videos bringing you guys with us there on some of our trips and some of our stays at the cabin.
Like and subscribe.